Hey there guys, this is Rich from Epic Game Nights. Here with another Street Fighter report. And this time I want to give a special thanks to Major Tom 331 for actually pointing out some stuff from the last discussion that I had. And I was asking, who do you think these guys are? And he actually came back with a very interesting reply from the data mining that happened over this last weekend on the beta. And it seems that there are a couple of characters floating around out there. Some characters that people really wanted, and some others that were a little bit unforeseen. And the character leak list goes as follows: Alex, Guile, Urien, Ibuki, Juri, and Balrog. So it seems like the little prediction that I had about Dudley or something like that, out the door. There is a boxer on there, and it seems to be Balrog. So it's interesting how from a beta, people will go ahead and just look into the information, just trying to get a little peek from the behind the door scenes and all that. And you know, it's a real problem for developers when they want to keep secrets and they want to surprise people. But hey man, fans are very eager to get into whatever's going on right there, so they'll go ahead and just start data mining. And it's really interesting to see, that this is some of the stuff that came up. 6 characters, first 6 characters in the first year of release, and we're, interesting character choice. And it leads me to believe, like, were these characters chosen because people wanted to see them in Street Fighter 4 and they really didn't make it in? Especially Alex and Urien. Maybe they felt like they wanted to save them for this new game. Is it a little bit more story related? Maybe they had a story in mind and these characters came up. Who knows what the decision is based off of this time around? It's usually what kind of characters will mesh better with everything. But it's interesting to see that these characters are coming back. Now, we kind of start looking at the recent trends. Where does this story take place? Street Fighter 4 took place after Street Fighter 2. Now, Street Fighter 3 was nowhere to be mentioned on there, leading me to believe, and people have talked about this on the internet, that Street Fighter 5 is actually a precursor to Street Fighter 3, which would make this very interesting because now we start seeing the shift towards the Illuminati in the new game. See, Shadowloo was like the big thing in Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha series, everything was around that. And especially with SIN in Street Fighter 4, we get to see that Shadowloo actually had their hands in deep with that. So with the rise of the Illuminati in this one, what is exactly that's gonna happen? How are they gonna make the story? Because apparently this game was supposed to have a little bit more story. I guess some of the developers saw how well done Mortal Kombat was. I personally played that game just for the story. And maybe they're just trying something a little bit different. People, especially myself, were left a little bit, wanting a little bit more from Street Fighter 4. We were expecting that single player experience with the story, engaging characters and all that, and we didn't quite get that. We got a fantastic fighting game that still gets support to this day, but not the story. So they're trying this thing and this time around. And we're probably going to start seeing some of the origins of like the Dark Hado, especially with Nikali. He has this weird transformation and all that. Maybe he has something to do with the Illuminati. Now, if Urien is in the game, we might see some of the origins of how Gil came to be. And that's really exciting to me because Gil is just this... He's a god, he's so hard to beat in that other game. He has a resurrection power, for Christ's sake. This guy is a god. He'll come out, he has wings, he'll call meteors from the heavens, he'll revive, and maybe now we'll get to see where this all originated from. Urien has a deep hatred for his brother. Gil and Urien are brothers, so he has this deep hatred for him because he was supposed to be the successor, and then all of a sudden Gil's in there. So now, maybe we'll start seeing how did he come about, how did all of this happen. And that's really cool to see. Now this makes me think though, these characters were leaked. I think at this point it might be too late and the characters are already locked in. But in the past, and I think this happened with Super Smash Brothers, the developers got a little bit upset whenever anybody was leaking information. So they might probably do a switcheroo at the end. Maybe some of these leaked characters will come down later on down the line. Maybe they might want to switch it up. Who knows? It doesn't seem practical at this point, but it would be really nice because a lot of the times we do get to see these leaks happening, and it kind of ruins the surprise for anybody who's already, you know, knowledgeable about what's going on, that's been following every single piece of information. Maybe not so much for somebody who's casual, but again, we get to see these trends where fans are so eager they ruin surprises. You know, as we probably know, the new Street Fighter character Laura Matsuda, she got leaked right before the event that she was supposed to, and you know, it's kind of sad to see how these character reveals get squandered just out of pure excitement. And sometimes I feel like, you know, people should respect that a little bit more. But you know, what am I to say? I'm still very excited every single time I see a new piece of information. It's really awesome because we're all very hungry for it, so it's really cool to see. So I just wanted to ask you guys, you know, what do you guys feel about these leaks? You know, and you know, is this gonna be the rise of Gil? Do you guys think that's gonna happen? Do you guys think it's gonna be a different character list? Are we taking this leak list as confirmed? You know, let me know what you think. What are the chances of all this changing? All right, so leave it in the comment section below. We can have a whole discussion about this, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, this is Rich from EGN, and I'm signing off.